Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I'm laughing because the dogs just keep on running around. I'm trying to bring peace and can you hear them in the background? I'm trying to bring some peace and serenity to my meditation moment here. And I was really struggling getting the ring light to focus because it was like too bright or, and then there was no light. Let me take off my shoes. I just went to my personal trainer a little bit ago. I feel so good today. It is so beautiful outside. My husband gets off work early. We're gonna watch a movie or do dinner or something. I don't know, I'm real excited about it. So I thought about reading through these meditations first today and picking ones, but then I thought, let's just get on camera and see, you know, what comes to us through the universe. Sometimes I like to kind of just see what the universe has to say to me. I've talked about that on here before, and just randomly pick a book. So let's randomly pick a book. I have to tell you, the language of letting go is really speaking to me today. I don't know why. I pulled the books out and I was looking at them and I was like, let's do the language of letting go today. I haven't, I don't think, for a while on here. So September 16th, let's see what it has to say to us today. If it's not speaking to me, maybe it's speaking to you. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Let's see, revenge. This is interesting. No matter how long we've been recovering, no matter how solid our spiritual ground, we may still feel an overwhelming desire at times to punish or even get even with another person. We want revenge. We want to see the other person hurt the way he or she has hurt us. We want to see life deal that person just rewards. In fact, we would like to help life out. Those are normal feelings, but we do not have to act on them. These feelings are part of our anger, but it's not our job to deal justice. We can allow ourselves to feel the anger. It is helpful to go one step deeper and let ourselves feel the other feelings, the hurt, the pain, the anguish. But our goal is to release the feelings and be finished with them. We can hold the other person accountable. We can hold the other person responsible, but it is not our responsibility to be judge and jury. Actively seeking revenge will not help us. It will block us and hold us back. Walk away. Stop playing the game. Unhook. Learn your lesson. Thank the other person for having taught you something valuable and be finished with it. Put it behind with the lesson intact. Acceptance helps. So does forgiveness. Not the kind that invites the person to use us again, but a forgiveness that releases the other person and sets him or her free to walk a separate path. While releasing our anger and resentments, that sets us free to walk our own path. Today I will be as angry as I need to be, with a goal of finishing my business with others. Once I have released my hurt and anger, I will strive for healthy forgiveness. Forgiveness with boundaries. I understand that boundaries, coupled with forgiveness and compassion, will move me forward. That's the last part again. Once I have released my hurt and anger, I will strive for healthy forgiveness. Forgiveness with boundaries. I understand that boundaries, coupled with forgiveness and compassion, will move me forward. And I don't know if B. Radley understands that or not, but he is, do you see him down here? He is really wanting some attention today. You know, it's a really interesting meditation that came to me today. So we watched the movie Monn last night, and I loved it. I thought it was great. My husband said, it was just okay, but I really liked it. We like scary movies. And it was a psychological thriller, and it was a lot about revenge. And it really had me thinking a lot last night. So I've talked about this on my vlog the last couple days. You know, I was really excited about the fact that my 30-year high school reunion is coming up next year. It's gonna be next summer. And then there was like this post that occurred where everybody started talking about the reunion, everybody I went to high school with, and everybody started getting tagged in it, and there were like all these like inside jokes and things like that. And all of a sudden, just like the inside jokes and who was talking to who, it reminded me again of going back to high school. So to reference this story, it's important that I share something that happened with me the last week that I graduated from high school. When we were, and I've talked about this on my vlog, so you've heard me talk about it if you watch my vlog, but the last week that I was in high school, we did something called senior wills. And it was like, you know, like a will, like you will somebody, you know, I don't know, you're so much money or whatever. It was basically that. But it was like people willing each other like their friends, like these personal jokes. And then they put them all together in like this big packet, and then they were, you know, like you could buy them for like $1 or $2 or whatever. It was like this whole thing. Like even me and my friends did it, right? Well, I came into school the day that the wills came out, and literally everybody was like holding them and like looking at me, like, and snickering and stuff, you know? And I was like, what is going on? And one of my friends said something to me, I can't remember exactly how it all happened, but she was like, you need to look at this. Well, this guy that had been like my major bully in high school had willed my BUTT to the entire football team. And I still have the wills in my basement too. I still have them to this day. Or he willed me to them, or it was like all these personal jokes. And it wasn't just him and them. It was like, you know, a lot of people were doing it. It was a lot of interactions between, you know, people, and I was the butt of the joke. And I thought, you know, it's the last week of my senior year, my last week of my educational experience and, you know, high school, junior high. Leave me alone. Like, it just wouldn't stop, right? So seeing this week about the reunion made me immediately think to myself, I don't want to go to this reunion if this is what it's going to be. If it's just going to be a bunch of inside jokes and people haven't changed and it's been 30 years and whatever. Now, if you also know my story, my biggest bully and I in high school, we've made up. Like, I've forgiven him. We've had great talks. I consider him a friend of mine today. And I really, truly believe that the way that you move through anger or things like that is by making amends, which he did to me, and, you know, by like forgiveness and love, compassion, and understanding. I really do, you know? And for me, it was a lot of understanding where he was at that point in his life, who he was, and what he was going through in his personal life that led him to treat me that way, you know? And once I could start getting behind that as an adult, I don't think I could have at the time, maybe, but as an adult, I don't know, if there had been mediation that had occurred like in high school between me and him and maybe like a counselor and sat us down and he told me what was going on with him in his life and I explained to him how what he did was affecting me, I do think there would have been a way to resolve that situation. But you know what's really sad is, and I said this on my vlog the other day, is that I went to, you know, my 20-year reunion and I had a great time and everybody was so nice to me. So I don't know why I'm scared of my 30th. It's stupid, right? And, you know, like all of these people that have friended me and wished me, you know, congratulated me on my wedding anniversary, these are the same people that called me the F word in high school, right? So 30 years ago, the people that had an issue with me for being gay, today it's a non-issue to them, right? Like the people that like made fun of me and made my life a living hell 30 years ago, like the issue at hand of me being gay, which was the issue that I was bullied for, right? To all of them almost is a non-issue today, right? So it makes me sad. It's like, if I look back on that, like I was allowed to have had that high school experience as well. I should have had that. And you know, my reunion for me, well, the saddest thing was when I walked away and I had talked to all of these fantastic people. I talked to all of these wonderful people that were interesting today. And I was like, you know what? I missed out on being friends with people in high school that I could have been friends with because of this one thing, that they didn't understand or they assumed about me or whatever. So it's hard, you know, it's still hard. I look back on that. And so this whole movie yesterday was about revenge. Well, then I'm finishing up I believe, like, listen, I know this is crazy, okay, but I believe that my higher power works sometimes through music, pop culture. Sometimes I'm supposed to hear messages through things, right? Or I just take pop culture and I try to learn from it. So I'm sitting out on the front porch last night, front porch. We don't have a patio out there. We just have a walkway. But anyway, I'm sitting out there because Alex is asleep and I'm getting ready to go to bed and I'm trying to finish up Orange is the New Black. And I'm down to like the last 2 episodes. And there's a scene in there where Piper, if you've watched it, she's the main star. She goes to this, she's out, you know, whatever. She goes to this gala and this person that she went with is speaking at this, you know, like this event. And she says something to her about, or she says something in her speech that she gives, and like you can tell it hits a chord with her, that she says, even though we may like have come across adversity in our life or things that have kept us stuck, you know, that you can never let it stop you from finding hope and continuing to move forward. Something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing it. But you know, I listened to that and I thought, that's so true. Like, I don't want things to be blockage in my life today. I don't want things to keep me from enjoying my life and having the best life possible. I don't want to not have hope for the future or not have hope that I could have friendships with things like that, you know? And I think that revenge is a very close sibling to anger, and I think that it brings out a lot of negativity in us when we go to those revengeful feelings. Today, what I attempt to do with the work of my sponsor and my counselor that I had and things like that is that when I'm feeling those feelings inside is A, be honest about them and talk about them and, you know, tell my truth that this is how I'm feeling. What do I do with this? And then immediately my sponsor always says to me, this is an opportunity for growth. Like, what do you want to do with that? Like, what's your part in this? What has happened? What can you do to clean up your part? And when I do that, and I look at that situation that's occurred with me, or that I feel like happened to me, and maybe there isn't always a point with it. You know, sometimes when we talk about this stuff, we're talking about real deep issues. So if you are talking about real deep issues, please don't just listen to this video. Please seek some professional help and talk this through with somebody. You know, and I think maybe my situation was a lot deeper, like with bullying back in the day, than I really ever gave any, you know, credit to. But today, like how I deal with situations that happen in my life, you know, as I'll talk to her, and then I'll look at taking responsibility for my part, if I have a part in it, or, you know, evaluating how I could have acted differently or what I could have done differently, making amends for it once I've processed all of that, you know. And then moving on. And typically what happens, this is what the meditation was talking about, is that typically I start having an emotional detachment from whoever it was or whatever situation it was. It's like, you know, I don't even have any emotions attached to that person anymore. And then what happens is indifference, you know? And indifference is where you really could care less about that person at all. And it's freeing. It is totally freeing. And I think that's, you know, what the meditation is talking about. Hold on, let me pull this up. Boo Radley I have sat here and he's so sweet the whole time. Here he comes. Do you see him again? I don't know if you can see him. Hold on, he's right there. Oh, you can't see him. He said, Dad, I want to hear the meditation too. But I think that's where, you know, it talks about walk away, stop playing the game, unhook, learn your lesson, thank the other person for having taught you something valuable, and be finished with it. Put it behind with the lesson intact. And, you know, I've really tried to do that. Like, I've even, you know, at times had to thank people for situations that were hard for me because I learned such valuable lessons, you know, through that situation, you know, a breakup or whatever. Or, you know, it's like, I think sometimes in retrospect, we can look back on a situation and go, okay, I understand why that happened now, you know? I don't know, like the whole situation with being bullied in high school, like I feel very cheated out of an experience, and I obviously can't go back now and get that experience, right? But I will say this, like I had the friends I had in high school who I wouldn't trade in for 1 second, or I wouldn't trade in at all. I had the most incredible friends in high school. I had the most incredible experience with my friends once 310 hit and we were out, you know, doing our thing. I mean, we had so much fun, right? And I loved my friends. And they made me who I am today. They made me a huge part of, like, the music we listened to, the things that we did, the conversations that we had. That was all as a result of the friends that I had in high school. Well, had I not been bullied, I'm not really sure I would have been hanging out with those people. You know, we were all a bunch of weirdos, like my one friend said. She goes, you know, we were all just a bunch of freaks. She used that word, I didn't, but... And it was true, we were. And I think that was kind of the uniformity between us. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being a weirdo today. I embrace that. And I look at that and, you know, I think, like, I wouldn't have had the experiences I had I not gone through that. So I don't know, like, what's the answer to all of that? You know, today I try to just look at things as things happen in my life. How am I going to choose to respond to it today? What do I want to learn from it? What do I want the lesson to be in my life today? Not just trying to dissect it. And I will tell you this, and absolutely not holding on to anger forever. It's just, it does me no good. It does me absolutely no good. You know, to hold on to that anger and resentment. I am the one that suffers the most, right? When we talk about that whole idea of renting space in somebody's head for free, I have allowed a lot of people to rent space in my head for free. When they have moved on and they're not thinking about me, when they're not thinking about me and I'm not even a thought in their mind, you know, and they've moved 10 states and I haven't talked to them in 5 years and I'm consumed with something, like, that's a problem. Like, I need to let that go, you know? And that's been a huge of what I've worked on in the last year, you know? Is looking at my part, taking responsibility, working to be a better person, you know, making amends for my actions, and then letting go of the situation or the person. In several of the situations, the people have come back to me and we become friends again, you know, over years and things like that. In other situations, we had to go our separate ways and there's indifference there. And not just on my part, but on theirs as well. So it is healthy, you know? Great meditation, I think. Okay, let's see if the Daily Book of Positive Quotations has something really positive for us today to end on. September 16th, love and work. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. Sigmund Freud. It's pretty simple. We need someone to love and we need something to do. We don't have to have romantic love. The someone we love can be a child, a friend, a parent, or even a pet. The something we do can be any kind of task or activity. It doesn't have to be a career. When we love, we are our best selves. When we work, we feel needed, purposeful, complete. Together, these two things are the building blocks of a happy life. They are what makes us human. If I don't have, this meditation is speaking to me on a level that you have no idea, okay? And I'm gonna tell you the story in a second. If I don't have love in my life, I need to make room for it. If I don't have work, I need to find it. I understand that these two things are essential to my happiness. I feel very blessed that I have lots to love in my life. You know, from my husband, to my best friend, to my family, to my dogs. Obviously, you guys know how important they are to me. To just everything. I mean, I today feel so blessed. I have such amazing friends, you know, and family, and God, my husband, and 3 of the craziest little dogs that I love, you know. But it's funny because this was making me think about writing. And I'll write a day and then I'll take 2 weeks off. And then I write a day or 2 and then I take, you know, I even, you know, tried to go to my office and write for one day and I did. I get distracted and then it starts self-sabotaging in my head. Well, I remember when going back to before I had written my book. And I was talking to Alex and I had all these different ideas, and finally he said, just pick one and stick with it. And I go, what? Like, I was like real offended that he said that. And I go, but I don't know which one to pick, and blah, 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 whatever. You don't know how my creative process works. I think I said something like that. And he goes, you know, what I do know is this, is that when you are writing, because you love writing so much, and you love being creative, and that's why I love doing YouTube. That's why I have 5 channels. I mean, I love doing this. I love making videos on these channels, you know? This one, all of them, right? And I love to write, and I love to create stories, you know, of characters and worlds and things like that and whatever, and I love to outline them. I have them all outlined, you know? And he said, I do know this about you, that when you are writing, you are happiest. You know, and it affects every area of your life. You feel like you have purpose, you seem happy, you're creative. The creativity goes over into other areas of your life as well. And he was right. He was absolutely right. And when you are so plugged in to doing something that you really, really love, you know, I think that it makes all the difference in your life. And it doesn't have to be anything like huge. It could be like, I love watching Netflix series. So you're constantly watching a Netflix series. Or it could be, I love to read, or I love to knit, or I love to, you know, I'm thinking of that because Mel from my book club, she just started knitting. So I was thinking about that. But, you know, it could be anything, you know. Finding something that you love to do, coloring in a coloring book, you know, or taking a walk, or exercising, or cooking, or there's so many things, right? But when we are engaged in doing something that we love, we're usually happier people. We are, you know, we're plugged into that passion. And then when we realize that we have people to love, not that love us, we focus a lot of attention on that, right? But who loves me? I don't have anybody that loves me. Well, who are you loving, you know, in return? And that's why at the end of my vlogs every day, I always say, if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Look at yourself in the mirror every single day and say, I love you. You are valuable. But I also say the most important thing is to make sure that you let somebody else know that as well. Let somebody else know how important they are to you and how much they mean to you. Because there's a lot of people out there that don't hear that. I get so many comments from people that say, I literally have nobody in my life. Thank you for your videos. I have no friends. I have no family. I have no one, right? So maybe we need to be the ones that are loving a little bit more and bringing that back, you know? Great meditations today. I love those. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.